You see, right now, we're in the middle of a crisis. I mean, business are closing and filing for bankruptcy. More than 20 million people filed for unemployment in the past few weeks. We're all stuck at home and don't know when all of this will end. In short, it's easy to be frustrated and stressed and worried right now, right? So the key question is, how can we be happier and less stressed? And that's what we're going to talk about in this video. So here are 3 ways that I want to share with you how to be happier and less stressed. Number 1, surround yourself with positive people. You see, if you're surrounded by negative people, it's difficult to stay positive. Have you ever experienced this? If you're surrounded by people who complain and blame others, how can you stay happy? It's impossible. Now, here's the good news. You can change it. And here are 3 ways how to do it. Number 1, for starters, stop watching the news. The news is full of negativity because that's how they make money. You know how it works. If it bleeds, it leads. The news are making everything worse than it is. And they love to spread fear because that's how they keep people glued to the screen. Opt out of this. Stop watching the news. Second, clean out your Facebook feed. You see, right now, people are spending way too much time on social media. And some people use social media to complain about everything. Or, what I think is even worse, they're spreading news that are not even true. Here's a tip. Instead of blocking them or unfriending them, you can just snooze them for 30 days. Did you know this? So there's these 3 dots on the right side of their name. So you can snooze them for 30 days. And this way you're still friends, but you don't see their posts for the next 30 days. And of course, if it gets too annoying, you can just unfriend them too. Anyhow, the 3rd way to surround yourself with positive people is to choose who you hang out with. And right now, that's easier than ever. Because, as you know, right now we're practicing social distancing. And you can use this as an opportunity to do a cleanse. You can use social distancing as an excuse not to visit with certain people that are just negative. And I'm sure with everything going on, you're too busy to spend time on the phone with these negative people, right? You get the idea. Now, I want to show you a simulation that my son Julius programmed this weekend. In this simulation, you will see squares and triangles. So let's just say these triangles are positive people and the squares, well, they're squares. So Julius programmed the simulation in such a way that the triangles are trying to be around at least 40% of people who are positive. So let me show you what is happening. When you surround yourself with only a few positive people, you attract more and more positive people. So that's the good news. You don't have to ignore all your negative friends. Just focus on the positive ones, and the negative ones will migrate to others who are negative too. Because you might have heard the saying, misery loves company. So let the negative people amongst each other. And before we move on to the next step on how to be happy and less stressed, is this making sense thus far? Are you enjoying this? Because if you do, click on like so that I know that you're enjoying this video. And then let's move on to step number 2, how to be happy and less stressed. Number 2, focus on what you can change. Have you heard of the Serenity prayer? It's actually written by an American theologian. I think this is how you say it. He's called Reinhold Niebuhr. And the first verse is the most popular one. And I personally think it's the most powerful one. So here it is. It says, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Isn't that powerful? Because if you focus on things that you can't change, you will be stressed. Because it makes you feel powerless and That's stressful. You see, right now we're in the middle of the crisis. We can't change that people are getting sick. We can't change that businesses are closing and laying off people. We can't change that schools are closed and kids are struggling learning from home. But there are things that we can change, and that's step number 3 of how to be happier and less stressed. Step number 3, there's always a silver lining. Yes, I am an optimist. You know me by now. I like to look for the good in every situation. And trust me, sometimes it's not easy to see. Here's an example. Let's say in this crisis, you got laid off. And right now you need to look for a new job. That sucks. But is it really the worst that could have happened? Think about it. Were you really happy in your job, or were you dragging it anyhow? Is there maybe a blessing in disguise that you're now forced to look for another job? Maybe it's something that you always wanted to do, look for another job, but never did because you were scared and maybe comfortable. Well, now that people are forced to do it, who knows? Maybe you'll get a much better job than you had. A job where your boss appreciates you, a job that values your contributions, and a job that maybe even pays better. Or maybe you're forced to find other ways to make money, and maybe that's why you're here on this channel right now. Maybe you always wanted to learn how to trade, but it was never a priority, or you never had time to do it. So you never got around to it. And now when you're forced to find ways to make money, this might be a blessing in disguise, because who knows? You might be really good at it and never have to work for somebody again. See, my point is, yes, losing your job is stressful, but it might actually be a good thing. However, it's always difficult to see it in the moment. Think about it like a wound, right? When a wound is fresh, it hurts. And while the wound is healing, it still hurts. But years later, when the wound is healed and somebody is asking you about your scar, don't you tell the story proudly? How you got the scar and how this has changed you? By the way, I have a scar in the back of my head. I got it when I was 7 and my brothers threw a knife at me. But that's a story for another day. Now, is this making sense thus far? Because if it is, do me a favor and click on like. Let me know that you're enjoying the video, because I have one more thing for you. But before we get to this, do me a favor. Tell me about something that happened to you that really sucked when it happened, but then it turned out that it was one of the best things that ever happened to you. Leave a comment and let me know, because I'm very curious. Okay, so now you know the 3 steps how to be happier and less stressed. And if you're in a situation right now where you have to find a way to make more money, then use this as a kick in the butt. Use it as an opportunity to find ways to make more money. In fact, I did a video on the 3 ways to make money, and I'll link to it in the description. In fact, it's a playlist that shows you how to make money step by step, and these videos should appear on your screen right now. So click on the video that makes the most sense for you, and I'll see you there.